Hello, wonderful story lovers, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we have a very special story about a tiny hero with a big heart. Let's journey into the Whispering Woods, where our adventure begins. Deep in the heart of the Whispering Woods, where sunbeams danced through the leaves and wildflowers painted the ground, lived a little hedgehog named Pip. Pip was small, even for a hedgehog, with soft brown prickles and bright, curious eyes. He loved his home, a cozy burrow under the roots of a giant oak tree. He spent his days exploring, sniffing out juicy berries and saying hello to his friends, Squeaky the Mouse, Barnaby the Badger, and a wise old owl named Hoot. One afternoon, the sky began to change. The bright blue faded to a grumpy gray, and the wind, which usually sang a gentle lullaby, started to howl. Hoot, perched high on a branch, called down, "A big storm is coming, little ones. Everyone, hurry to a safe place." Pip scurried back to his burrow, his little heart thumping like a drum. The wind rattled the old oak tree, and rain began to fall, first as a pitter-patter, then as a loud, angry roar. From the safety of his home, Pip could hear the storm raging outside. It sounded like a giant was stomping through the woods. As the storm thundered on, Pip thought about his friends. He knew Barnaby the Badger had a deep, strong den, and Hoot was safe in a hollow of the oak tree. But what about Squeaky the Mouse? Squeaky's home was a small nest made of twigs and leaves at the edge of the sunny meadow. It was a lovely home on sunny days, but it wasn't strong enough to withstand such a fierce storm. Worry gnawed at Pip. Squeaky was so small, and he would be so scared. Pip peeked out of his burrow. The wind pushed him back, and a big raindrop splattered right on his nose. It was dangerous out there. Every instinct told him to stay inside where it was warm and dry. But the thought of his friend, alone and terrified, was stronger than his fear. "I have to help him," Pip whispered to himself. He took a deep breath, curled into a tight little ball to protect himself from the wind, and rolled out into the storm. The world outside was a whirlwind of chaos. Branches flew through the air, and the path was turning into a muddy river. Pip uncurled and tried to walk, but the wind was too strong. So he curled up again and let the wind push him, rolling and tumbling through the woods. He bumped into rocks and roots, but he kept his mind focused on one thing, Squeaky. He had to get to the sunny meadow. After what felt like an eternity, Pip rolled into the meadow, or what was left of it. The beautiful flowers were flattened, and the grass was soaked. He looked for Squeaky's nest, but it was gone, washed away by the rain. A wave of panic washed over Pip. "Squeaky," he called, his voice barely a squeak against the howling wind. "Squeaky, where are you?" He searched frantically, his little nose sniffing the wet ground. Then he heard a tiny, faint cry for help. "Pip, over here." The voice came from the middle of a large puddle that was quickly growing into a small pond. Clinging to a single sturdy lily pad was Squeaky the Mouse, trembling with cold and fear. The water was rising, and the lily pad was starting to drift away. Squeaky was too scared to move. "I can't swim that far," he cried. Pip knew he couldn't just watch. His prickles might be sharp, but they weren't very good for swimming. He needed a plan, and he needed it fast. His eyes darted around, searching for anything that could help. Then he saw it, a long fallen branch, one end on the bank and the other stretching out into the water, just a little short of the lily pad. An idea sparked in his clever little mind. "Squeaky, hold on," Pip shouted. He scurried to the branch and started pushing it with all his might. He pushed with his nose. He pushed with his feet, his little muscles straining. It was heavy, but the thought of his friend gave him a strength he didn't know he had. Slowly, painstakingly, the branch moved. He nudged it inch by inch until the very tip of it touched the edge of Squeaky's lily pad, creating a bridge. "It's a bridge, Squeaky. You can cross." Pip called encouragingly. Squeaky looked at the wobbly branch, his whiskers twitching nervously. "I'm scared, Pip. It's so slippery," he whimpered. "I know," said Pip, his voice calm and steady, "but I'm right here. I won't let you fall. Just take it one step at a time. You can do it." Hearing the confidence in his friend's voice, Squeaky took a shaky breath. He placed one tiny paw on the branch, then another. He wobbled, but he kept his eyes on Pip. Slowly, carefully, he crept along the branch bridge. Pip watched, holding his breath, ready to help if Squeaky slipped. Finally, Squeaky made it to the other side and leaped into Pip's arms, hugging him tightly. "You saved me, Pip. You saved my life." "Of course," Pip said, hugging him back. "That's what friends are for." But their journey wasn't over. They still had to get to safety. "My burrow is safe and warm," Pip said. "Let's go." With Squeaky riding safely on his back, nestled between his soft prickles, Pip began the long journey back to the giant oak tree. It was even harder this time, with the extra weight of his friend, but they faced the wind and rain together. When they finally reached the burrow under the oak tree, they were both exhausted, wet, and muddy, but they were safe. Inside, Pip gave Squeaky a dry leaf to wrap himself in and a juicy berry to eat. Squeaky snuggled in, feeling warm and safe for the first time since the storm began. From outside, they could still hear the storm raging, but inside the cozy burrow, there was only the peaceful sound of a friend's gentle breathing. The next morning, the sun peeked out from behind the clouds. The storm was over. The woods were wet and messy, but they were also clean and fresh. Pip and Squeaky stepped outside. They found Barnaby the badger and Hoot the owl checking on all the other animals. When they heard what Pip had done, they all cheered. "Pip, you were so brave," said Barnaby, ruffling Pip's prickles gently. "Indeed," hooted Hoot. "True courage is not the absence of fear, but helping others despite it." Pip just blushed. He didn't feel like a hero. He had just wanted to help his friend. From that day on, the little hedgehog was known throughout the Whispering Woods, not just as Pip, but as Pip the Brave. He was still small, but everyone knew he had the biggest heart in the whole forest. And he showed everyone that no matter how small you are, you can make a huge difference with a little bit of courage and a lot of love for your friends. And that's the story of the brave little hedgehog. I hope it reminds you that true bravery isn't about being fearless. It's about being scared and doing the right thing anyway. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed our story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.